Um, is this wonderful collection of long oral histories, folk tales, photographs, and drawings by Sandra Shackelford and with her collaborators. And you would like to name your collaborators, Steve?
I am so proud. And I would like my friend Mamie Lord to stand up and May Lord to stand up. I'm over 8 years old, so, and I don't care. But without them, this would not be possible. May Lee in the purple went with me everywhere on to interview people when we worked for the NWTC's Family Support Project, going into the homes of newly arrived refugees. I not only learned history and was able to communicate because Maylee translated for me, but I also learned about cooking. And I used to go, we would go when, in between work to her house and we'd sit down and have a little lunch and one day I said, I can't believe this food. What is this food that you have cooked for lunch? And she said, oh, Sammy, those are squirrel testicles. So you can see they had quite the relationship. Oh, and I mean, that's not all. I won't tell them about what we have when we go to the beach to have our drink. Anyway, May, that is your sister-in-law. And May, you still work for WPS, okay, and May took all of those. You're going to see the tapes up there on the desk. They are so old, but May went and listened to those. She translated and transcribed them to paper. And so this would not have happened if it hadn't been for my darling Polly. Polly, where are you? Where is Polly? She is in the back row and she is standing. With somebody, I'm going to say something about you, my darling. Okay? If it wouldn't have been for Polly, this never would have happened. Because we went to her house one day, and she was very, very sad. And it was a very cold day out, and there was no heat in her house. No one lived on the first floor. And she had a little grandbaby. And so it was, below zero in the house. And she was standing in a corner, and her little grandbaby was sitting in front of a gas heater with the flames shooting out. That's the only heat in the house. And she came walking toward us, and she asked me to please tell me to give her the words to speak her grief. And the book is named after what Polly had asked me to do, asked us to do. She and everybody that we interviewed were the most courageous people that I have ever met. And they taught me so much They shared the spiritual component of their lives, everything. I became a little sister, and I have never forgotten it. And they have made me strong in my own life. And I want to thank all of my Hmong friends for helping me get courage in my own hard times. I love you, Polly. I love you. These are my little sisters. Oh my God. Oh, oh. Heroes, heroes. I'll have to go and have a drink. We'll have sex on the bed. All go tonight. Oh, I'm sorry. Not really. Oh, remember? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And everybody, I am overwhelmed by you and your kindness and your love for me and your support for me. And I wouldn't be here without you. I love you.
We love you too.
I love you, Sandy.
All right. So. All right, so as I said, I'm the director of the teaching press, and so this is our biggest launch event yet. So we asked for a little grace as my wonderful team of interns is working and trying to figure out how to make sure that you all can get books and that you all can buy our stuff as well. I'm hearing that there may be an issue with our online purchasing, so I'm trying to solve that while I'm also up here. So I'm going to be trying to make sure that everyone can get through okay. But let me just tell you, there are at least two ways to purchase the book with a discount code for today. So if you're going to do an online purchase, if everything works, this is the goal. Is there's these scannable QR codes around, and our people who are selling in that back table will help. We're trying to make sure this link works. And right now, if you're telling me it doesn't, I can't, if that's my mom out there on Zoom, which it probably is, just give me a minute. So I'm trying to make sure that works. But anyway, so optimally that will function and it can work, and 20% off for today for launch. And then for the next few days after that, you can definitely use that. We hope that you will. We do have plenty of books here to purchase. You can also buy by cash, which is much easier at this particular moment. And the book is, what's the price for cash? 25. Oh, 25.32. It's that way online as well, but just in case you were like, you can do that. And 20%, that's with the 20% off. Something I should tell you is Teaching Press at UW Green Bay is a student managed printing house and publisher. This is, I think, I don't remember what number title it is. We might just be cracking double digits. We were founded in 2018 and launched in 2019. And for a very long time, what we've done is been a printing house. So if people had projects, they would pay my interns, who are all undergraduates, for design, copy editing, marketing plans, all of this great stuff, but we wouldn't really print the books or sell the books ourselves. Starting in around 2021, 2022, we opened up our publishing side, which means I was able to do what the fancy word called acquisitions, which I love saying, but I think it just means I love your work. I'd love for us to publish it and sell the book ourselves, which is what you see all over the place. So I'm super, super proud that this is our third title in terms of an acquisition, A Portrait of Grief and Courage, Hmong Oral Histories and Folktales. I just could not be more excited. It's coming out from what I call our like interlacing of art and word imprint. It's called Mimi and Rupert Books, and that has a falcon on it, and that's because we had nesting falcons on the top of this library named Mimi and Rupert, and there's some drama that I won't get into between those two birds. And anyway, they aren't Mimi and Rupert anymore, but a long time ago that was their nesting. So we named our imprint, and we love the way that this book merges drawings, photography, storytelling, history, and all of the interlacing that's going on there. So we couldn't be more proud. Some other things I will start with saying about this book in particular. So, and then, is it okay if I sit down? Can you can see me, right? Like, I'm really super short.
We can see.
Okay, so this book came to me as a person who's directing and looking for titles to publish and have my students work on and become involved with. I happened to be just randomly in Sturgeon Bay, and I was at the Miller Art Museum, and I was just killing time. I mean, that's a beautiful place. I'm not trying to say you should go there and everything. But for me, I was there because my children were involved in a project up in Door County. And I went in and I was in the library side of things first. I was like, this is cool. And then I went into the Miller Art Museum. And while I was in the Miller Art Museum, I went up to the second floor. There were some things that were beautiful, but then I was absolutely stopped in my tracks by one of Sandra Shackelford's large-scale drawings, right? So if you know her work at all, she's done photography, she does writing, but she also does these incredible, huge pencil drawings, right? And they're amazing. And I was just stopped, and I thought, well, that's incredible. And then I looked on the little note next to the drawing, and there were 3 of them in a row, and it said that she was a documentary artist and oral historian. And next to this particular image was the story of the person. And I've done I'm a writer myself. I chair writing applied arts program here. But part of the most important work I think that I do and where I've kind of come around is trying to find ways that storytelling can save the world, which sounds ridiculous in some ways, but also it's absolutely true, I think. And so when I saw that and I realized that Sandra was an oral historian and a documentary artist, I thought, I want to publish this. This is the book. I want this book. Whatever it is, I want it. I want to work with Shackelford. So I had this all in my heart. I'm all happy with the new idea. And I'm kind of boinging around and being around the Miller Art Museum. And I go downstairs, and guess who walks into the door literally 10 minutes after I have this brainstorm? But Sandra Shackelford. She was there for a reception, right? For a different artist, right? And the odds of that happening are just amazing. I had known Sandra for a little while. I was a board president and organizer for Untitled Town Book and Author Festival, which some of you might know about. Ran for 4 years here. He's in another form now, I believe. And I knew Sandra as one of the people that we would want to do the Storytelling Saves the World work. She did workshops with veterans. Did you do workshops, I think, for retirees? I think you did those, right?
The whole bunch.
Yeah, and that was excellent because we in the organizing book festival really wanted to make sure that we had that kind of outreach in the community. So I knew her from that, but I didn't know her work. And I'm so very thrilled. I mean, you get this idea and you're like, this will be great. And then what if it doesn't turn out great? What if somehow or another I was like, oh, Sandra Shackelford, and then it was just, it was stuff that, my passion. What if my passion had been I'd gotten over my skis or whatever they say? So I can't even tell you how delighted I am that the work that is in this book is so beautiful, is so heartfelt, is so moving. And Sandra's touch with all of the interviewing that you'll see in here, or the stories that are being recounted, is so light and showcases these voices that are truly from another era and another time. And so to have that captured and have her photographs documenting life, as well as drawings, as well as folk tales, it's just a treasure. One last thing, but then I'll stop talking and let's hear some talking, and we'll do some Q&A for you here. Well, is that this, as I said, we have student interns. We've had 2 semesters worth of students working on this project. So probably a total of, gosh, I don't even know how many were in spring, but there are 21 in the fall. And there were a total maybe of 40, we'll just say 40 people, 40 students, or maybe 30 working on this book throughout this year. they've taken this book from a manuscript, which was a bunch of paper, right? I don't know if it's young people, paper. I think here it's what paper, right? So this whole like raft of paper and in an electronic form. And then we had, and we'll hear from these folks in just a minute. We had an incredible project manager. Olivia, let me pull you up if Olivia can come up for a sec. I'm gonna pull my people up real quick and then we'll move to Q&A. So Olivia Meyer is our project manager. She's graduating in like 5 minutes. So she's here out of the goodness of her heart. She's like, all right. And she's been in on all of the meetings. So what we did is we started, I had known her from another project and I said, you need to direct this one. This is really good. So Olivia was our project manager and what's beautiful about Sandra is she had us into her home with Deb Anderson, who's around here somewhere, who's in charge of the archives. And she welcomed us in. So, and made us tea, and we sat there and we had this great time. And so we got to learn who she was. She also came to talk to us into my classrooms via Zoom. So all of my students, one way or another, got to know Sandy. And so those spring students became passionate about this. We contracted with a designer who's around here somewhere, Emily Healing. She'll say some words too. She's one of our students. The beautiful cover, all of the pieces and bits that you see in here, that was an undergraduate, I think she was a sophomore at the time. Maybe I don't know, she's just a baby. She did all of this work in here as well. And there is a note from her at the end describing how she took into account how to make a design of this book. And then we also had Kat. Can I pull you up? Where are you? Over here. Hey guys, come up here. This is Emily Wave, designer. This is Kat Halfman, our chief copy editor. Kat Halfman, chief copy editing sounds kind of boring, like, oh, commas, whatever. And, maybe it is. But this book, it was definitely something we didn't want to make any mistakes in. If you find them, I would truly apologize. It's on me for sure. But we had a lot of place names that had been spelled one way in one version of the manuscript and another, because this is, again, the way that this manuscript was gathered, and we'll talk to Sandy about our process here in a second, was through interviews that were then transcribed and recorded and transcribed, or different people in the book had a tape recorder and recorded themselves speaking, and then that was transcribed by the folks that you saw up here earlier. And so the differences in capturing the language and trying to make sure that gets down. So there was a lot of work to do to make sure that we were being consistent and caring and standardizing in this book. Kat's main principle as a chief copy editor was light touch. These voices, to the best of their ability, are preserved as well as we can in a translation from English or from Hmong to English and from oral culture to the page. So there's flattening out. I was speaking with May about the differences. Thank you, you're over there. About the differences between Hmong and English and what you kind of lose. And it's been fascinating to talk to the people who are doing that as well. So we have that going on. Okay, so I'm going to move on. So I wanted to just thank these folks because, again, these are undergraduates and everyone you're seeing here, we've got our interns in here. So I want to thank them for all their help. This project. When we have heard that Holly might be coming or that I got a hold of, Maylor and Maylor, or any of these like sort of celebrities we've kind of gotten in our head from working on this book. They were ecstatic. They're like, oh my God, Holly's coming. Oh my God, you did this thing. They've just been so delighted and happy and also compassionate. My class has learned so much from Sandra's work and the work in here. There will never be another project like this. And so we're very lucky to have been able to shepherd this. So I just want to thank them. And you guys may not have to actually even say anything because you're kind of running low late on time. But thank you so much for Right. Cool. All right. Do you want to hear that Sandy talk?
Well,
Okay.
getting old.
So my question is, a collection of oral histories and folk tales. And so I guess I have one big question to start off. I just want to ask Sandra a few questions so we get some sense of the project and what she was doing. So you did this project's like from early 1990s, right?
Right.
You're doing this work. So my question for you, Sandra, is was it difficult to get people to talk to you? How did you approach? You were coming from a position of care and outreach, and then, decided, okay, maybe we can do more to tell these stories and share these stories, right? And so my question is, was that hard to do? Was it hard to get people to talk with you? Was it difficult? Like, how did you manage? Because your interview questions are so beautifully crafted and you have so much that they talk to you about.
Well, I grew up on Gobbler's Knob. And that was the hilltop house my daddy built for us when we were evicted from our house during the Depression. He was from Kentucky. My daddy was a storyteller. And from the time I could walk, I would get up on his lap and he would tell me the stories that shaped him. And that is what shaped me. My whole family are storytellers. We just don't shut up. And going through life, I worked in Mississippi during the civil rights movement with people who, were my heroes. They were people of great courage. I lived in the ghetto with a group of a religious group called Pax Christi Secular Institute for 11 years. I'm Franciscan. I made the promises of poverty, chastity, and obedience. And I don't remember how many of them I still practice. But you people have such courage. And through my life, everybody that I met had a story to tell, how they got through life. And I just had to know more about them. So, and I find out a veteran who was a homeless veteran who came to my door and said, "Shovel your snow." And that was way, way, way back. And he ended up dying in a doorway on Broadway downtown. But I worked with him and helped him for a long, long time. And he taught me a lot. But during all of this time and meeting all people of different cultures who have been through so much in their life just to survive, it taught me that you have to earn the right to tell somebody's story. Right? No matter who they are, you have to earn that right. And they are the heroes. I am not the hero. I am just, the person who writes it down on a piece of paper and then puts it out there so the world can see what courage looks like. I have met so many people. I also want to give thanks tonight while I'm sitting here to some very, very special people who did something very special for me to add something and to what we're doing right now. so that the Hmong story, the Hmong history, my friend Ali's story, her drawing holding her grandbaby is hanging up in the magazine department down at the library on Pine Street. If you want to go to see a woman of courage, a drawing of her, you can go and look at the drawing of Ali. And you will see, if you all get close enough to someone, you can see yourself in their face. You go, if you get close enough, you go into their heart and you see them. We are in a tough time right now. And we need this. We need this now. We need to love our neighbor. And that is why I'm so glad to be here. So glad to have you sitting here. And you are people who do just that. Everyone in my life, every one of you has made a difference in my life. And you have loved me. I want to mention a few of these people who made a difference, who have also contributed to the research, the archives, to our book. And I would like, there is something next to you over here, and it's covered up. Underneath there is a drawing. And I would like, don't take it down yet. This is, through the kindness of the people that I am going to say their names. They made it possible for the archives to acquire this drawing. And this is a drawing of a lady who is, when I first met her and interviewed her, she's through the interpretation by Meili, that she said she was 124 years old. Well, she was at least 100. And she became like a grandmother to me. My friend Ali was my sister and will always be my sister, whether I'm here or not. And the people that made it possible to present this drawing are these, the names of these people, and I would like them to stand. Lynn Adrian.
Oh, stop.
Come on, Lynn.
No.
And if you want to, after a while, she'll do somersaults. She's very good at that. These people have contributed in more ways than one. Marjorie Mao. Margie, stand up. She's also an artist, and her lovely husband is right next to her, David. Katina Danan Venisi. I don't know if Katina is here tonight. Dana. Katina Venisi. And oh my Lord. And these people, they also write. And they are kind. They are incredibly kind. Peter Angelello. And I am, if it wouldn't be for Pete, stand up. If it wouldn't be for Pete and for Jim Rivet, I wouldn't have made it this far. I had PTSD when I came back from Mississippi from all the violence and the ugly racism I saw. And they took me in and they healed me. David Verhagen and the lovely and gorgeous Cher Brandel. Please stand up. Jean and Kurt Boyer. Jean Boyer. Way back, boy, do we go back. Margie Cottingham. And she is writing a book now, Conversations with her grandson. And what is his name for you? No. And so she is writing letters to, and another one of our writers in our writing circles that we have is another woman who has been through hell, who is writing her life story. And I want to introduce my dear friend who has made a big difference in my life, Ava Tez. Would you stand, Ava? Right. And she picks on me. Okay. And where, and I could not be anywhere without Joyce Fritz and her lovely and handsome husband, Don Kraft. Donald, where are you? I mean, and he put in my front porch so I could get up the steps. I still have another knee operation to go on, to go through coming up, and that's gonna be a lot of fun. And Chris Seidel and the lovely Andy Waterman. And there they are. Okay, and boy, do we go back. These people, the people that are sitting in this room right now are magnificent. They have given so much to people. And I just want to thank them for taking me in and for making it possible to present this drawing of my song, The New Immigrant, to the collection. And take a look at her, don't forget to get close enough so you can see yourself in her face, in her eyes, in her soul. Thank you. Thank you.
Beautiful. May I ask a question about? Sandra, when did you do this?
I believe, I don't know if there is a date on there, does it say 1990 or something like that?
And how, if, I know you've talked about what happens to you when you draw and when you're doing a drawing, even just now, you've talked about how you sort of understand the person from the inside and it's a process where you're understanding. But is that, if you do that, is that, what are the materials? Pencil and the process a little bit?
I set up, I have pencils that go from almost invisible lead that are the lightest tones, and I work from them to build the drawings. These are they are meditation. Because I'm just very, very quiet when I do that. And the deeper they go, go beneath the surface. I go into, you will see that they're abstract, there are abstractions in there. They're also around the surface. Things look three-dimensional because of the light that I create around certain areas. So it makes the piece look three-dimensional. And she is just, and her cat, she always wore that little cat. We would go to dine and we'd go, I'd take her out to a restaurant and I'd open the door for her and bow. And she'd go in and all the people, the waiters and the waitresses would laugh. And we'd go in and just have the loveliest time. When I would go to her house, she came to Green Bay and lived in an apartment. And I got a phone call from her granddaughter who would take care of her. And she said, please come over, grandmother needs you. And I got in the car and came over immediately. And the young woman, she was lived on the second floor of this apartment. And I walked in and my Chong was not saying anything. She wasn't looking at me. She was putting things away in boxes. And her granddaughter told me that the man who lived in the apartment next door had come out and exposed himself to her that morning. And she could not stay there anymore. I was very mad. I have a dear friend who's been my buddy. He's an ex-hockey player and a wild man. And I said, Wilson, I need you to help me. And I said, we need to find this lady a bed because she's getting out of her apartment. She is moving today into a place where she can feel safe, where her children also live, her grandchildren live in the apartment building. And he came over in his truck with the rock and roll, playing on his car. And we went over to WGNR, and the fellow who owns GNR had been an usher with my father at St. John's Church. He gave us a bed. He gave us mattresses, pillows, sheets, and a coverlet for her. And because of him and because of Mr. Green, she had a place to sleep and a place that was very, very, that she felt safe. So that is all that she went through, like all of my darling Lee went through. What it took for them to come to the United States and find a home. And I would like you, when you see people who are going through tough times, show them your respect. All right? I don't, that is probably.
So that was an amazing story, and thank you for sharing that. This makes me wonder, I know that a number of people who responded that they were coming are family members are related to some of the people in this book. And I feel like at least a few people were related, there are family members or know of my Jean. Is that correct? Are there any of those? Can you stand up and tell us who you are?
Well, that's my grandma.
That's your grandmother.
Yeah, that was me.
Oh,
And she raised me.
oh my gosh. Would you come up? So Danny doesn't have to go so far.
Now, you were the lady that I met in her house.
Yes.
You,
I was the granddaughter.
oh, please. I have been so lucky. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
And
I
I
hope
don't think you guys.
Oh.
She would live. Holly, you will live forever.
Mhm.
And
Right.
all
Famous.
you will live forever in our hearts and in our minds. You have given us courage. You have given us.
May I ask if other, I've seen people in here, I already know that there are some folks in here who are also family members of other people in this book. Can I ask if you are family members or the actual people, we've got Holly here, in this book, would you mind standing or letting us know that you're here, please? Thank you so much. I think we have. One over here, one over there. Okay, can I have you move forward a little bit? I'm sorry. Can you come up towards the front so Sandy can see you and talk to you? I think we had, was it Yi Bang's daughter? Is right here. Yeah. Can I have you guys come on up, please? Okay, there, guys. We won't make you do anything, I promise. I'm not gonna make you do anything goofy, I promise.
He Bang's daughter.
Yes, so come on up, guys. We promise we won't make you do anything silly.
It's a great granddaughter.
A great great-granddaughters. Great grand. Oh my gosh.
Your great grandmother was a good friend of mine. I tried to teach her how to drive. She would sit next to me. She would sit next to me in the car. And we would have so much fun. She had such a sense of humor. She's just the funniest woman. And I am so proud that you are here too, that the families, and that you brought along her great grandbabies to celebrate her life. You see, your great grandmother was a hero. She was a heroine. She made a difference in so many people's lives. I went to her house and she had people over, and she was, I told her I would teach them how to stuff or how to cook a turkey. And I never cooked a turkey. And so I'm up there talking about this turkey and didn't realize that there was stuff stuffed in the turkey. So I said, well, what's this? There's a bag in there, you know, and everybody started to laugh. But your grandmother knew how to cook a turkey. So thank you for coming today. You have a hero in your family. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
So this is the daughter of Yi Zhang. What's her name? Tom. Can I have you go? Can I hug you?
Oh, my nose. Oh, show me. Where you're. Which. There she is. This is, and you see the smile on her face. And she had, oh my gosh. And there's a story about the basket she carried. And in here, this is her husband. And he worked for the CIA, he worked for the US soldiers. He was shot in the leg. She spent a night with her children, sleeping in a pig pen because there was nowhere else to sleep. And that is it, the night in the pig pen. And we cannot, many of us cannot comprehend what other people go through. We are very fortunate. And I hope that this book brings attention to people who are so special and courageous. Could we hear a large clap? I can't cry anymore.
Is there, just to make sure we're covering, is there, and we have Polly, and Polly, do you want to come, did we know, we saw you at the beginning, but would you like to just come up real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. You weren't even supposed to do any work.
Yes.
Now, you join us to work. You got fit there, that one.
Oh,
I'll talk to you later about it, Sandy. I'll talk to you about it later. I'll introduce myself to you in a bit.
okay, good.
What's the song that you drew?
Okay.
She's very happy. She's very happy to see you again, and you are her sister.
Yes, forever and ever.
That's a good for you.
Oh my gosh.
For you to remember her.
Oh, oh, I never forget you. No.
And will you guys see each other again after then?
Oh, yes. Good.
She said she loves you and she's glad that you guys are siblings.
Oh, oh, I love you. To the moon and back. How do you say that?
Cho rất là hai rừng mà rồi là nó mà lại ra có ý của cái khai thác luôn kia này khai thác luôn cả nó
Yeah, guys.
khai thác luôn là tụi anh lên chỗ này để con chồng này không
Remember your little prince?
I remember my little friends, yes, yes. And now you have gone to Warsaw. Okay.
Grandma wants to call me.
Grandma. Now, do you want me in the middle or
You right in the middle.
Oh. Thank you. Moga.
เป็นแม่ก็ใครแต่ด้วยเนี่ยแบบร้านบะหมี่เป็นแม่ก็เทียบไปเทียบว่าคุณจะกันอ่ะ
Do you remember? That's the child that she was holding when you drew the picture in the library.
มีช่วยตัวหนึ่งที่เทียบแต่ด้วยเนี่ยแบบร้านบะหมี่
That's usual.
This is the picture in the library. This is the baby.
All right.
Oh my goodness.
Is
that the baby?
มีจั่วถ้ามีจั่วเป็นดี
You just talking about the picture. That you of your drawing.
อย่างเช่นที่ตอนนั้นหอยชาลีนอเนาะแต่ละเป็นใจเป็นแบบนี้นะ
Okay.
แต่หน่อยละเนี่ยนะสาวคนใจอย่างเงี้ยนะอย่างเงี้ยชวนกันได้จริงๆเลยนะมึง
Oh,
โอเคมันก็ตัวการะทงก็จะหนีด้วย
Okay, ready? Let's see. There's a cloud.
okay. Okay, I will get back to you.
Grandma's off walking. So we have these next.
All right.
So there's also a picture in the book of Holly's daughter holding her baby at a welcoming ceremony. This is, what did you say? Gali. She is the baby pictured in this book, which is very neat. I'd like to point that out.
Yeah, and what page is that on?
Page 6.
That's right. Okay. Great. There have been requests to do pictures and so we're going to probably do that in a minute here and take advantage of Sandy up there and these folks up there. Are there any other people who are representing family or who are connected in some way to the stories in this book that we want to make sure? Oh, hello. And you too?
Our grandpa's.
Your grandpa. Okay, can I have the last, like, you folks come up? Were you were Mahjong, yeah? Or was there somebody? Oh, you were.
Oh, yeah. For my grandma?
Yes, yeah, okay. And then you, your connection, granddaughter. Okay.
Of my show.
Of Mahjong. Oh, okay. Okay, all right, I got it. All right, thank you. And then who was could you just say, I'm so sorry that you were connected to?
Oh, it's our grandpa. Yeah.
Who's the grandpa?
Side
Okay. Okay, excellent. Do you want to take a picture? Yep, you should probably go talk to. I can move you to that direction. If you guys don't mind. Yeah. So, thank you so much, those of you who are connected to this book because your stories, your family stories and your family storytellers are in here. It's incredible to be able to have this document. If you want to all keep watching all the excitement up here, you are certainly welcome to do it. We'll be happy to bring people up and I would love to have a photo of the generations of the people who were in the book and your descendants and family and stuff. I'd love to have a photo up here. That would be really special to us. In terms of the last few pieces of what's going on here, I would like to say that part of what we're doing here, and while they're talking, if it's okay if I talk at you for just a sec, I want them to have their moment. We are here in the archives because we've been fortunate enough to be the recipient of a new Sandra Shackelford collection of all of her materials and things she's giving us. So before we kind of wrap up with her and do that kind of part of this, I do encourage you, there's the whole archive next to the sales table. There's a lot of those materials. And as you are of her materials from not just this project, but other projects too, that you can take a look at. This is we're in a library, but they do encourage you to touch the archive, these kinds of archive. You don't need gloves. Actually, you don't need them, right? I heard that was on. So we welcome you to go through these materials. All around here, we have photographs from Sandra's original collection related to this book, and some of those are in the book and some are not. So we encourage you to take a look around with the remaining time after we kind of finish up here. There's that work as well to see. Deb, did you want to say anything more about the archive at all?
So we're going to.
Yeah.
We've sort of changed our direction. We're working this way.
I know.
Yeah, yeah.
So my name is Deb Anderson and I have the honor of being the coordinator of the archives department. And we started talking with Sandy, about 3 or 4 years ago, a little bit, twinkle of an eye before this project. And we are very, it's very important to us as an archives team, as a UWGB library, to make sure that an archives has materials that are not just the great white male settlers of the area. So it's very important that we collect all the voices. And so this Hmong documentary project became an impetus for that. I did go to Sandy's house and have tea with her, and Sandy, as she was talking, she would allude to these other things. So if you know anything about an archives or a librarian or kind of how we work, is if she said one little thing like, oh, and I have this diary, and then I'm like, what is that? And then, oh, I have some other photographs of this other project. What's that? So in the end, we gained Sandy's trust and built that relationship. So we here, as part of the UWGB archives, have permanently received her collection. That includes all the photographs, it includes this drawing, it includes the oral history interviews, it includes all of her writings, poetry, travel, short stories, another project that she did, Compassionate Humanity. So we have the beginnings of that, what has come to us so far in that back table. But that is an important part of our archives. It's a community archives and not just the traditional stories that you might expect to find in an archive. So we're very pleased and very honored to do that.
If you hear me say.
We also have granddaughters of Zai Yang. In the book.
This is Pania, and Pania works here. And Pania, I have a picture of she and her sisters and brothers' shoes outside their back door. And that's how I'm going to have to put all the pictures I have together and give them to you. All right. I love you. I love you. Swear. Keep that.
Say something about my courageous sister. She came to my house one day years ago. And she had this Hmong family with her. And she came up and rapped on the door unannounced to us, and we were sitting there, and she came in and she said, I brought these people in here that I wanted to show what a real American home is like. Like we had dishwasher and we had a stove and there's lights and we had carpet. And I thought that was very interesting. Well, there was a lady there, I think it was Polly, and I think there was other young people, and there was an elderly, not elderly gentleman, but kind of a dynamic looking young gentleman. And he kind of had his eyeball on my sister. And I thought, well, just a second, that's my sister you're looking at. The more I tried to part him from my sister, the closer he got. And I think I think he was looking for an American wife. So, it was a lovely day.
It was. Yeah, he taught me, he was such a funny man. And he was old and he taught me a lot too. And we would be on the bus and I would shake. Sometimes we'd go out to, what is it, Sunny Hill Farm. And after they had picked up the vegetables, to sell, and so there were still things out in the out that hadn't been picked up, and so we'd go out there in that Red Cross bus and get out and go in the fields and get vegetables and whatever, and so this gentleman was the last one on the bus, and so I came to get him off. And he used to give me a little tap on the seat. Just a funny. So, yeah. And I would give him things, and to introduce him to my brother meant that I was interested in him. Otherwise, so, and that was something I hadn't known. So that was funny. Anyway.
All right, we're gonna get a picture with all the descendants with Sandy. So can we have everybody who's related to a person in the book come up and take a picture?
And our translator and transcriber as well, please. Thank you. We'd like all the generations up front. We know some folks have to go back to all across the state. We want to make sure that we're respectful of your time. So we're just going to do a quick photo up here.
Yeah, but. Make sure people answer there.
Stand up. Sorry, I'll. Can we have you all gather around Andy? Oh, wait. That direction, Sandy, you guys are- Yeah. That's nice. Bye.
See that now? Alright, see ya.
We're still working on.
Yeah, and then later my wife was this.
I heard about it.
Yeah. If she wasn't a writer, she could be a stand-up. She got that gift. Good to meet you too.
Your sister is.
I ask you, or did you do it here?
We did.
You did it here.
It's ours. I asked her, I said, to be a good publisher, you should shop this there. She's like, no, I want you to do it. Thanks.
Right.
All right, are you all ready? Get together-ish. Down, Sandy. All right, everyone. All right, any interns remaining that would like to come up and get in a picture?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, are we joining right now?
Yeah.
We're getting in right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Together, get the fight together.
Yes, we're all gonna.
Yeah.
If she decided you can hold it, I'll just give you the money.
You just want one?
Just want to go. How much? You want to read before I give it to her?
Let me go double check. my
It's 25 something.
Yeah, let me just double check.
I also said that about my-
Are we free? Thank you so much. All right. No, it's been brand new. Thank you. Wait, is that on the launch?
There's our January hours. Before then. This is, we closed our last day.
Okay, I didn't.
Our last day will be the 20th. Okay, well, that's next week already. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm thinking. Right? Okay, we'll be here. My grandson and family, or my son, and my grandson is living, so I'm excited about that. How about you?